PRC, quality service since 1972. Repairing TVs, console stereos, electronic musical instruments, pinball machines, arcade games, and more. Call 836-0454.
This is the afternoon edition of the Weather Xtreme video. This is for Friday, 9/11, 2009. James Spann here. And we're getting set for an unsettled weekend. And boy, next week could be very wet depending on this tropical wave coming out of the western Gulf. Let's talk about it. Look out the window with some of the Skycam images around the network this afternoon. First off, coming from Walker County and downtown Jasper. They've been pretty wet up there so far this morning. In fact, Walker County, as I do this update, is under a flash flood warning. Now, the heaviest rain has been down in the areas south and east of Jasper, but estimates indicate that some spots there have picked up over 2 inches of rain. How about that? There's the downtown Birmingham Skycam looking north from the Daniel Building. Kind of a gloomy, overcast Friday afternoon, and pretty much the same sky from Gadsden up in Etowah County. Water vapor satellite shot, upper level low that's way up north over North Dakota, but the interesting feature, of course, for us is what's happening down there in the western Gulf of Mexico. There's a look at the current surface plot coming off the rock model, and really it does not identify a surface low in the right spot. There is one down there in the western Gulf, not the central Gulf where that thing is, and we'll talk about that more in detail in just a moment. Rain for the next 5 days. Big numbers. Dallas-Fort Worth all the way down to Tampa Bay. And, of course, the amount of rain we see here all depends on the development and the ultimate track of that wave. I think it's going to be pretty wet next week, statewide. I know that there's a tight gradient there from near Huntsville to Mobile. You know, Mobile's got 3.5 inches, Huntsville with only a half inch. But I think a lot of people in Alabama stand a good chance of seeing 2 to 4 inches of rain over the next 5 days, and this is valid through Wednesday morning at 7. Tropics, 3 areas of suspect weather, and really the Hurricane Center suggesting that of all of those 3, none should develop, but there's a low probability. The one on the middle Atlantic coast, one off the coast of Africa, a new wave, and our disturbance in the western Gulf. And, of course, Fred's out there. Let's mention Fred first. Just having a hard time getting past 35 west. You can see the thing's being sheared by southwest winds aloft out there, and it's kind of losing its punch. Barely a hurricane now, winds of 80 miles per hour. And it's going to sit there all weekend, moving hardly any at all around 35 west. But what's left of this thing, if anything, should begin to move back to the west as a ridge builds north of the system. And a remnant low shows up Wednesday morning at 8 o'clock, almost to 50 west. So we'll see. Maybe this thing's something you don't write off completely yet, but whatever, it's going to be a long way away for the next 5 days. Look at the model tracks on Fred, and you can see most of them do bend it back off to the west. A very slow forward progression here. Most of the models have it very close to 50 west in 5 days, and we note the BAM Deep is going off the deep end, and it's got the thing moving into Africa, going the wrong way. Intensity schemes, and by golly, you know, you've got a couple of the models that keep this thing a hurricane. I don't see how it can sustain itself with the winds aloft like we're seeing. Most of them bring it down to a tropical depression or a minimal tropical storm, and I think that's the right solution in the short term. And the analogs, all of them, the top 10 are recurving storms. So I'm not convinced this thing makes it. But who knows? Maybe it'll be a breakthrough. We'll see. But whatever, a long way out there. All right, let's look at the... this is the RPM model. We call this the Rapid Precision Mesoscale model. It's exclusive to us. You can't see this one online. This is the one we show on television. And we're looking down there in the Gulf, and you can see that indeed there is a circulation. Indeed, it's a cutoff low, but it doesn't strengthen over the next couple of days, but it's drifting north. There's some chance. Understand, there's a... The upper air winds are not extremely favorable, but having said that, on the other hand, there's not a tremendous amount of shear, and the water's awfully warm, so who knows? This thing could become a tropical depression, maybe a minimal tropical storm, but one way or the other, same impact here. It's going to bring a lot of rain to the Texas coastal plain, Louisiana, and ultimately, we think, Mississippi and Alabama. Look at the GFS, valid at 1 o'clock tomorrow. This is at 500 millibars. Core westerlies are up north. And down below, the model continues to suggest the best chance of rain tomorrow will be down over southwest Alabama. Birmingham and north, it's been dry for a while. We're not going to buy into that. We're going to mention a chance of scattered showers and storms statewide. You know, we had that big bust last Saturday. Maybe we're just shy, but I'm not so convinced we have a dry day. So a shower, a definite possibility. The most widespread rain probably down to the south. Sunday, Moisture is deeper statewide, so showers and storms will likely be increasing. And again, you really don't see a closed low down there. It's more of a trough. And then Monday of next week, it looks pretty wet. That little bullseye is more than likely convective feedback, but still, Monday looks like a very wet day with that deep tropical moisture. Tuesday, a broad surface low does show up over Mississippi. It looks wet. Wednesday, same deal. I mean, you can see why we're looking at a very wet week, and we might have to deal with some flooding issues before the week is over. And understand, we've got some flooding issues today, and the ground will only be more saturated. Look at Thursday of next week. That surface low goes nowhere. It's over the Mississippi River, and on Friday, a week from today, same deal. So, by golly, it looks awfully wet around here for the next 7 days. Drought, no problem. Not going to happen with this. And then end of the forecast on the 27th of September. And again, you've seen some runs with a deep trough, some runs like this. This is showing the core of the Canadian jet or the polar jet up in Canada. And that'll keep that cold air trapped way up north. And by golly, some little surface low shows up down there in the Gulf. That makes you want to go, But again, this is pure voodoo in that we have seen so much modeling inconsistency out there in the longer ranges. That's it for the Weather Xtreme video today. We'll have notes on the blog. The next video here by Monday morning at 7. That's my next video. Brian Peters will have the videos tomorrow and Sunday. And if you're local to us, we invite you to watch us on television this evening. ABC 3340 News at 5, 6, and 10. Again, thanks for watching. Have a wonderful day, and God bless.